Hey love bug, it's me, Emma Upton, clarity wizard, resistance whisperer, and professional fog lifter. And in plain English, I help high achieving women stop circling, name the exact work that you came here to do, and build the real thing using the map and the magic of your work without needing to burn your life right now down. We're not chasing productivity. We're not overthinking, and we're definitely not into positive thinking. We're remembering what it feels like to have fun and making magic into a really real, tangible map. So if you're waking up, if you're finally ready to create that next level of podcast, that book, that business, that beautiful, wild thing that doesn't fit the mold that you've already made, but it will not leave you alone, you're in the right place. Welcome to Let's Build the Real Thing, the map and the magic of your work. Let's figure out what's really been in the way. Let's build the real thing. Welcome home. Welcome to your real thing. This is the second part to a 5-part series. If you haven't heard the intro, go back to yesterday's episode. Today we're talking about push. Clarity without calling. So this is going to be helpful for when you know what to do, you're doing it, you're getting results, you're showing up, but it feels dry, it feels flat. It doesn't feel like you anymore. It almost feels like you have to put on this performance to be able to create. So if this hits a nerve, know that what I'm going to be bringing to you at the end is going to be super supportive, and it's going to be practical and tangible, and it's going to be, look at this, do this, see this. Know that not all areas of this are going to apply. This is a very, I don't know you personally, but I'm talking about the whole ecosystem of this. If there's parts of this that don't resonate, then don't discount everything, because that's what the brain will want to do. Well, I didn't fit all of it, so that's not actually me. Get curious around this. If there's part of you that's thinking, oh God, yeah. So you've got the list, the planner, the course login, the vision board of dreams. You've got everything laid out. It's tangible. It fits into your diary, but you're operating a maximum capacity. You've got all the ideas. Honestly, maybe you've got a few too many ideas. You've got the clarity, technically, on paper. You know how to launch, you know how to sell, you know how to build, you know how to do the brave things, you know how to step out of the box. You have created probably something pretty profound. And yet, the moves that you're starting to make now are starting to feel like you're dragging your body through wet cement. And it doesn't make sense as to why. That feeling of, but I'm doing it all the way I've always done it. Why does it not matter how far or how much I get? So whether you're building your business, launching a podcast, dreaming up that book, or holding a body of work that doesn't quite have a name yet, if it's been circling in your chest or deep in your gut and you still can't make it move, this one's going to be helpful for you. So this is the push state, what I identify as the push state when we're thinking about the 4 energetic states. If you're in this right now, I see you, I am you, I dip in and out of this too frequently, annoyingly. This is one of the trickiest ones because it masquerades as success. Quite often you get tangible results. You get the rest of the world clapping and cheering, saying, oh my God, you're so cool, you're so magnificent. How do you do all the things? And inside you're thinking, I'm actually dying. I don't know. It doesn't feel that fun anymore. It looks productive. It looks clean. It looks clear. But inside, it doesn't feel that way. You're worn out with it. You're disconnected from it. Even though you're doing the things that usually bring you back to self, you're thinking, I don't know why, but I'm not. And maybe you're looking and searching for this tangible answer. So often we don't know that this is happening until it's too late, until something really big and heavy and life-changing happens, and it forces us to be able to see it, because by the measures and the standards of the world that we live in, being in push state is celebrated and encouraged, and we see it everywhere on social media, in marketing, that this is the ultimate state to be in. So when you're operating from this and you're getting the results, quite often something has to snap, something has to break, something has to give, and it's usually something really important like relationships or health or wealth. So push is what happens when your brain is leading without your body. when your clarity is sharp, but your energy isn't behind it. When the plan looks good on paper and it makes all the sense, but it feels like cardboard in your chest. And maybe you can identify with that feeling, that low key dread feeling when you're working to the schedule and it's time to sit down and work on the thing that you said that you wanted, that you've been putting all of the pieces of your life together to get. That is the push energy. That is not as clear as so many of the others. It is sneaky as hell. It hides behind masks. I keep finding new levels of it, and I'm like, how? How is this still existing within me? Luckily, I have the systems that I'm going to be sharing with you here, and it's the operational work that we do behind the scenes in Find the Thing and the bridge, creating what's really real in the Find formula, where you can see the nuances of everything that are sitting under everything else. When it gets sneaky, you get to get sneaky in a different way to be able to see it with a different light. I want to be really clear. This notion of being blocked, you're not blocked. It's the performance of productivity. That's what's getting in the way instead of following resonance. And it might be, if you're anything like me, you have this awakening. There are multiple awakenings around this. It's the awakening of, oh my God, I'm burning out. Like, no wonder I keep going into big fits and starts of like going all in and doing all the things and then exhausting myself and burning out, but then getting back onto the horse again. And what, like, that realization and that awakening to begin with, but then it takes on deeper levels. It takes on deeper layers. And a lot of this rebranding of the work and the podcast and coming back with this fire inside my belly has been an awakening around this performative notion. It was just this flow state, this push flow state in a different guise of saying to me that there's a certain way to be around this, even though I rest now, even though I listen to my intuition, even though I give myself space, I lead with my heart, I go, even though I do all of those things, there was a new level of mass. So if it doesn't scream obvious to you, there might be a little layer that's sitting underneath that this is going to give insight into. Your system knows that there is this resistance and it's not happy with you. And maybe it's giving you telltale signs in different ways, but it can't tell you in words and stuff like that. So instead, it resists. You start to procrastinate on things that you just wouldn't have. You start to overwork in places that don't require you to. You burn out and then you do it all over again. And underneath that system, there is this feeling, this notion of there is more, and this ain't it. There is more, but I don't know how to go about actualizing it. And that idea is scary because I'm the one that knows. I'm the one that knows. I'm the one that does. I'm the one that accomplishes. Push often shows up when you've outgrown something that you were once aligned with and it used to light you up, but you've been following an old map and your body knows the terrain has changed. Your soul, your heart, a deeper part of you know the terrain has changed, even if your calendar doesn't. And there is a disconnect. And when we don't know what to do with that disconnect, quite often we just go in harder on what we already know. This is important about push. It's not bad. I love my capacity to push. It's not bad. It's not broken. And it definitely isn't wrong. It's one of the strongest traits that I have. But without balance, without knowing how to use your own magic and your own insights as the map, it's a sign that you're building from the outside in. And that's why it will never, ever feel like enough. You're building from strategy instead of soul, no matter how much of the soul work you're doing. And what you're here to create next, it is impossible to come from that old version of you. So how do we identify, like, well, it sounds a lot like I'm in that. How can we solidly identify, am I in push? So let's talk about the symptoms of it. Maybe you're forcing a plan that used to work, or maybe it is still tangibly working, but it doesn't feel like it's working for you anymore, but you're still using it because you're not sure. And maybe you've played a little bit outside of your life, well, that didn't work, and you come back to it. So you're pushing something that used to work, creating things that you no longer believe in, but they get you the results outside tangibly. And that's a tricky situation to not do anymore, exhausted, even though you're doing the right things. So you've got the diet, you've got the mindset plan, you're speaking to the therapist, you're doing all of the things, but you're shattered. And it doesn't seem to matter who has your kids for how many nights and how much sleep you get. It's a kind of exhaustion that is beyond just getting sleep. You're starting to second guess yourself again. Those patterns in your habits that you awakened from and you were like, I'm good. And then all of a sudden you're like, did I go back in time? What is this? It's a new awakening. You're being called to a new level, second guessing every move, doubting, and then moving back to that proving energy, being like, no, I've got this. I know how to do this. Let me show myself how I can. And when you're back into that ticking boxes, doing the thing tangibly on the outside, it looks like you've got it all together, but inside, there's no feeling, there's that disconnect. So if that sounds familiar, my sweetheart, that is push. It's a mother plucker. But what we're going to be discussing next is going to become your new BFF. I want you to have this on repeat, have it in your earlobes, be like, okay, I see this. I'm ready for the next level. I know I'm here for ridiculous amounts of more. So I'm going to see this for what it is. So what we're going to talk about, what we're going to do as we identify this, and as you start to see with this awareness now and this curiosity, that's all it ever takes. Like, could this be me? Am I doing this? Is that why it doesn't feel like enough? Is that why no matter what I get or achieve, there's always this feeling of, well, what's the next? I should be doing more. Because naming it in isolation isn't enough. And if you're truly in push, you're going to question if this is even as true as I'm actually laying down. It is impossible. We don't want to fix. We don't want to fight. And shame, be like, oh God, it's just me being shame is the most unhelpful thing. And that's why we talk about Francis in the FINE formula and the Be Anxiety Free FINE formula. All we're doing right now, we're going to go deeper into it. And if this is your jam on toast, we go into this and find the thing and make it real. And then we bridge it over into your actual body of work. We're just going to name it right now. We're going to identify it and bring a curiosity around naming it, being like, is this what I'm operating from? Is this why it feels so heavy when it's really not meant to? In doing that, we soften it. And once it's malleable, once we can maneuver it, it brings a lightness, and that lightness creates space, and that space is where your work wants to just fill you up from the inside out. So the answer to push and what we want when we're hard in push like me is the strategy. Give me the strategy, give me the formula, and I'm out. But it isn't to throw you into strategy or the opposite extreme of, okay, well, my calendar's so full, like I'm not going to have any meetings. I'm going to clear my schedule. Those are the tangible things that we wish that it could be, but it never is. What we need to do, and it sounds very woo, and I'm always like, we need to invite your energy back to this party. Inviting your energy back to your work, back to the room of your creation. And one of the ways that we do that inside Find a Thing is something that I call the donut challenge, where you feel like a donut, you feel like a sausage. If you listen to the episode before this, you heard me give a little bit of context. So it's a small, playful, deliberately imperfect action that makes you feel like a donut, that makes you feel silly, that makes you feel like, oh my God, why am I doing this? Taken today. Hopefully, immediately after this, just go out and be like, I'm going to be a donut. That reconnects you to your work without the pressure or performance that we're so used to when we're in push. Push wants you to do this by optimizing your time or making the perfect outcome orientated plan. Like, okay, well, if I'm going to waste my time doing something that's non-business related or non-trademark work related, then I want it to count. But we're over here to break the trance of over-functioning, of being in push, under the promise that shifting into the discomfort of being a donut and doing this donut challenge is going to bring you the riches that are unfathomable to the spreadsheets. Okay? What we miss when we're in push is push can only operate out of the mind and the tangible things that we know exist already because we've experienced them. That's how the mind operates. It can only operate in the known. What you're being called to And why you're being forced out of this operating system into a new energy of flow is because what you're here to create is beyond the parameters of what is known and what has gone before. So that requires you feeling like a stupid donut. And it can't be in a spreadsheet and it can't have a tangible action because you don't know what it is yet. But through this, we find the map. Through this, we access the magic. So, ready for your donut challenge today. And I'm going to go away and do this as well because this is a playground that I always need to come back and play in because my push is lit. Do one thing badly on purpose. And that doesn't mean make something bad on purpose because you're not that person. I'm not that person. Like, no. I was on a hen do at the weekend and it was like a shooting range and like some of the girls were just like had the gun like, oh, let's just enjoy the moment. And like chatting and stuff. When it was my go, my one friend said to me, Emma, do you have your eye closed? I'm like, yes. How else do you want me to fixate on the target? Like, I'm not somebody that's just going to show up and throw something out and do it badly on purpose. But what we want to explore here is the notion of whatever you do as a first draft, what if that could be good enough? That's where we play. Because realistically, what happens is we put the work in and then we come back to it and we refine it and we modify it and we make sure that it links up with the brand or the what if actually just sharing something as it is gets to be enough? What if it gets to be easy and imperfect and just that? And if it gives you hives at the thought of it, you have landed on this episode on purpose. And if you don't, I'm going to be so mad at you and I might not even know you yet. But the truth is allowing yourself to play in this realm of, well, it's not my best because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it needs to go through this refinement process. And just sharing it, it will awaken you on levels that you cannot begin to comprehend, that I cannot begin to comprehend, and I still want to hold on to it. It sounds simple, but it's not easy, is it? That's because you're being led by push, and the only way out of this is through. You're not behind, quite clearly, you're not behind. You're not mental for not being happy with what you've already got because it's glorious and you're low key considering that you might be a psychopath for not being madly in love with it at all. You're just in push. And it is that plain and simple. And when you look at it like that, it's like, oh, I'm not a horrible person because I've got so much that I love and I'm not that grateful for it. Okay, interesting. I can get behind this. I can get curious around this. I don't get it, but I'm listening. So invite this into your space. That's all you can ever do. Okay, this sounds like something I want. So I invite it in and take 3 massive inhales. They're my favorite. And take them so they're so deep that by the last one, it doesn't feel like you can inhale anymore. Like inhale through the nose. Don't let it out and go in again. And don't let it out and go in again. And then breathe a really long, slow breath all the way out. And do that 3 times. And as you're doing it, each inhale, say, let it be light. Breathe in that lightness. Let it be fun. Breathe it in. Let it be me. Let it be me, not the version of me that I think I'm meant to be, not this perfect micromanaged version that I think it should be. Actual me. And then do it. Do the thing, feel like a donut, feel the resistance, feel how you want to put it into chat, feel how you want to dissect it all, and just do it and watch how you don't die. It might not be the thing that makes and breaks your business, but nothing astronomically bad is going to happen like your brain is trying to make out that it is. Be a donut and do this breath every time you think about doing a thing and you imagine it's the last thing that anybody is ever going to receive from you and then you're going to die and it's all that's going to be left and it's going to be engraved on your headstone and you're like, I can't face that. And do it. Breathe, repeat your words, watch it lose its power and do it. And you are forcing yourself out of push. And it doesn't mean that you lose that strength. And I'm doing a whole body of work on this inside Find the Thing about your strength is that push, but let's bring up the other energies to match with that strength. And suddenly you can push, but with the magic, you can make the map, but with an equal balance of magic. You're already doing the work. This is your invitation to do it from a place that feels alive again and not a performance. And if this landed for you, there's a good chance you're operating from the other energetic states as that we're covering as well. We're all little bits of it at different points. in the wild mix of them all at different times in the creation. I'm in a wild mix of them in the creation of my work. So come and join me in the next episode, because we're talking about pull, when your soul's calling, but clarity hasn't caught up just yet. And if you're ready to go deeper, if you already know, Find the Thing is exactly where we do this together. Until next time, be kind to your systems and go make a mess. Go be a donut. Love ya. All right, love bug, that's us for today. If your brain is sparkling and your soul's going, holy shizballs, this is it. First of all, same. And second, please know this. You're not circling for no reason. Your work is very freaking real, and it's not going anywhere. It's here because you're here for more. If this landed in all the god-awfully brilliant ways that it was meant to, come and tell me over on Instagram. These are my favorite places and best kind of conversations. And if you've got a friend whose brain is as wonderfully wild as yours and mine, send this their way. We need their magic in the world just as much as the world needs ours. So that's it for today. Go take the teeniest step towards the real thing, your thing. And remember, clarity around your map and magic is never found. It's remembered. This has been me and you together making the real thing. I cannot wait to talk soon. Much love.